I want to highlight one of the reasons why the Zohran story has to continue to be talked about, because he doesn't have to do anything. You know, we talked at length about how he's already accomplished more than anybody could have ever hoped for just by winning, and winning by the margin that he won by, and the numbers and the people that he brought out there. But you have to imagine that they are very concerned about him in a big, substantial way, because the vice president not only went after him, but he went after him in a way that is actually pretty sad. Like, if you're going to go after him, make it substantive in some way. He wasn't patriotic enough, apparently, on the 4th of July.
And that brings me back, finally, to the next likely mayor of New York.
Not if you have anything to say about it.
Today is July 5th, 2025, which means, as all of you know, that yesterday we celebrated the 249th anniversary of the birth of our nation.
Please clap.
Now, the person who wishes to lead our largest city had, according to multiple media reports, never once publicly mentioned America's Independence Day in earnest. But when he did so this year, this is what he said, and this is an actual quote. Quote, "America is beautiful, contradictory, unfinished. I am proud of our country even as we constantly strive to make it better."
What's wrong with that?
I don't understand. I don't understand what he's saying.
He's saying that, were you paying attention?
Not really. I was kind of zoned out.
Why were you doing that?
Because I just find him kind of just blah. He's just boring.
Do me a favor and listen.
Okay.
But when he did so this year, this is what he said, and this is an actual quote. Quote, "America is beautiful, contradictory, unfinished. I am proud of our country even as we constantly strive to make it better." End quote.
I understand that. I heard that. It's a nice quote. He's talking about Zohran's quote.
Yeah. That's
so
what
again,
Zohran
all
said.
they're doing is promoting him. They are making fools of themselves.
Oh, you think?
I do think, because even it's like he's actually saying that he has a problem with that statement just by the way he's saying it. And that's a huge tell, because the fact that you would have a problem with a statement like that is pretty telling. Like, they're just outing themselves as the complete bigots that they are.
Indeed.
There was no gratitude in those words. No sense of owing something to this land and the people who turned its wilderness into the most powerful nation on earth. Zohran Mamdani's father fled Uganda when the tyrant Idi Amin decided to ethnically cleanse his nation's Indian population. Mamdani's family fled violent racial hatred, only for him to come to this country, a country built by people he never knew, overflowing with generosity to his family.
Generosity.
Offering a haven from the kind of violent ethnic conflict that is commonplace in world history, but it is not commonplace here. And he dares, on our 249th anniversary, to congratulate it by paying homage to its incompleteness and to
the level of hubris and arrogance. Yeah, you know, the fact that it's a whole thing that can be amended by definition is sort of indicative of its incompleteness.
Isn't that what Jefferson said anyway? I mean, isn't that what the Constitution was?
Totally. Which is why this is just, he's just so stupid. And here's the thing, is he knows that. JD Vance knows that.
He knows quite a bit. Much more than he's letting on.
It's, as he calls it, contradiction. I wonder, has he ever read the letters from boy soldiers in the Union Army to parents and sweethearts that they'd never see again? Has he ever visited the gravesite of a loved one who gave their life to build the kind of society where his family could escape racial theft and racial violence?
The guy's running for mayor of New York City. He's talking about him like he's running for president of the United States.
I love it. He's getting so much attention. That's the beauty of it.
Could you imagine being but it shows you two things. Number one, it shows you that Zohran is for real, that they have probably, I guarantee, the reason he's doing this is because they probably already have had their talk with him. Be like, all right, you're the nominee now. You understand how this works. And all he's like, no, I'm doing my thing. And they're like, oh, really? We're going to have to come after you then in a really big way.
But all they're doing is promoting him. It is. That's what Josie's saying. That's what I was saying. It's like the Streisand effect.
They're doing the one thing that they shouldn't be doing if they're trying to beat him in the general election. They are giving him free airtime and more name ID than he could know what to do.
It's beautiful.
So they're helping him win, is what they're doing.
Absolutely. That's all they're doing.
Fly, Icarus, fly.
Has he ever looked in the mirror and recognized that he might not be alive were it not for the generosity of a country he dares to insult on its most sacred day? Who the hell does he think that he is?
Oh, I'm going to ride that xenophobic nationalism as far as I can, right, JD? Right, Hillbilly? You're going to just ride that xenophobic nationalism? How dare he criticize our holiday? Get the fuck out of here.
He didn't do anything.
Nationalistic. First of all, this is all he's doing is trying to hype up using rhetoric, nationalistic, hateful, bigoted shit. That's all he's doing. This is all sort of like whistles to that. How dare this immigrant come here and say not that our country, and he didn't even really say anything other than say it's a work in progress, which to me that's pretty generous. So, the fact that this is what he's using and that's all he's got just shows how pathetic he is actually, and how they have resigned themselves to this. There's nothing they can say.
The best thing that they could do, and as much as I hate saying this, but this was the strategy that Hillary employed when she was running against Bernie until she had no choice. She never acknowledged his existence. They kept it quiet. Now, of course, Bill the Butcher. Yeah. That
was his speech. Somebody said, JG 1982 says that was Bill the Butcher speech, that this idiot is taking a movie line against immigration straight from a movie. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I have never seen Gangs of New York, but I would definitely
see it. You know what? You should definitely see it. So as soon as I saw what you were saying, and it did sound very similar to that, I'll take your word on it that basically that's where he's getting his talking points. It sounds about right. That very anti-Irish immigration rhetoric that we got from Gangs of New York. That's what he's basing it on. And that was Daniel Day-Lewis played Bill the Butcher, and he was amazing.
Well, of course, this is exactly what happens. They come to this country and they don't appreciate what is given to them.
No, you're wrong. You sound no, because he wasn't English. Bill the Butcher wasn't English.
No, he was Irish, right? Was he Irish?
No, he was like an American. He was one of those people that was he was not, his parents came wherever they came from, but they weren't from Ireland.
You know what the amazing thing is, and Kat says that it was a great movie. It probably is a great movie, but everything I've ever read about it is that it's a very average movie that Daniel Day-Lewis makes into a great movie.
It was just a really good movie.
Okay.
I disagree, and I reject people criticizing everything else about like Cameron Diaz. She was fine. I mean, could it have been other people done it better? Maybe, I don't know, but she was fine. Like, don't be hating on it. It was a great friggin' movie, and Leo was great. It was a good movie.
Mel, we love you, but here's what I would say. Zohran is actually left, and AOC is what I would call cosplay left. Alex spends more time worrying about the virtue signaling aspect of social left politics than about actually taking legitimate risks. Remember, Zohran went to Albany and took a real chance at being physically assaulted for standing up to what was going on with ICE, among other things that he does.
I can't look at him anymore.
Well, JD's he's a joke.
He's Peter Thiel's little puppet, and I have no, and just there's so many things about him that are just so. I find him very of questionable credibility.
The other thing that's going to happen, especially as MAGA evolves and things change, the landscape of politics continues to change. JD, when he inevitably runs for president, he is never going to shake the fact that, especially if I'm hoping somebody like Thomas Massie runs for president, people are just going to call him Peter Thiel's puppet. That will stick with him on the campaign trail.
So it'll be Peter Thiel's puppet up against like Clinton's puppet, which would be like Buttigieg. It would be like Buttigieg versus JD Vance would be like the
Newsom is already on the trail. He's already
so it's
South
like
Carolina.
Sock'em Robots. Remember that?
Yes. I actually had, I shit you not, I had Bush Dukakis Rock'em Sock'em Robots when I was 5 years old.
Well, Rock'em Sock'em Robots is how I picture, like, that's, so you've got Vance and Buttigieg or Newsom, whoever it is, and you've got their little donors back there pulling the little levers, Rock'em Sock'em Manchurian robots.
The reason I want to bring this up, and this is a two-parter for you guys. So I don't know how familiar you guys are, and this, of course, always upsets me the most when I see my Irish traitors to my people. These are the worst scumbags of all. When the Irish betray their own, because when you stand with like Israel, for example, you're betraying your own people, and everyone knows it. So for those of you who are not familiar with tech billionaire Shaun Maguire, this dumbass who is, I guess he created Sequoia Capital.
Right.
He had some pretty disgusting comments to say about Zohran Mamdani. In fact, he went to such lengths.
Who is this? This is VC, but so he's just some, what, like?
VC, venture capitalist, rich tech, Silicon Valley billionaire. Close to 600 people. Again, I don't give a flying fuck about you signing your stupid letters. It doesn't mean anything. But here's the thing. Maguire is a huge Trump supporter, and he's a huge Israel supporter. And so scroll a little further so you could see exactly what this little pencil neck motherfucker looks like.
Oh my God.
Of course he does.
Oh.
Scroll down a little further. Maguire, a vocal supporter of Trump, posted on X over the weekend that Mamdani, who won the Democratic primary last month, comes from a culture that lies about everything.
If that is not a projection and an admission, I don't know what is. That's so beautiful. Keep talking, please.
And is out to advance his Islamist agenda.
So replace Islamist with Zionist. And everything he's saying is just his wish list, like what he wants. Continue.
The post has over 5.3 million views as of Monday afternoon. So Lord knows it could be at 10 million at this point. Those who signed the letter are asking Sequoia to condemn Maguire's condemn them and do what exactly? When they say,
well, no, that's the equivalent of their CYA. Okay, that's all they're trying to do. You know what that is, right? CYA, cover your ass. Yeah. So that's the equivalent of their CYA letter. That's not we don't believe what they're saying. They're just taping so that they have plausible deniability. It's not to do anything. That's all it is.
Well, he decided that he was going to make a long, drawn-out video. And if you scroll a little bit further, Colin, Mandani's campaign did not respond. So basically, forget the sign. You can keep going down. That's fine. Keep scrolling down. Now, Sequoia as a firm is no stranger to politics. Doug Leone, who led it until 2022 and remains a partner, is a longtime Republican donor who supported Trump in 24. Following Trump's election, 12 Trump voters, you no longer have to hide in the shadows. You're the majority. By contrast, one of their other mega donors is Mike Moretz. You see, this is the thing, guys, and this is what we keep telling you, is that it's two sides of the same coin. It just depends on who they want to have in charge. It's all the same bullshit. That's what it comes down to.
They're all friends. The Clintons, Epstein, Obamas, Trump, they're all friends. They're all friends. Lutnick, they're all friends.
Yeah. And what makes this particularly distasteful in so many ways is the fact that he decided to spend about 30 minutes of recorded space on X, Twitter, talking about what an Islamicist, this is the new word, Jen, by the way, Islamicist is what they're using.
What is that? What is that?
Basically, they're terrorists. That's like the way you're saying it. It is so, it's not even that it's so 20 years ago. It's not that it's so George W. Bush. It's that it's so weak and non-substantive and that it has no real value. But what Maguire chooses to do, of all the things that he thought would be sort of a gotcha, he decided to highlight Zohran's father and comments that he made, I believe, in front of the Supreme Court. I don't think this is the only that you think it is if you listen carefully to what Zohran's father.
When that happened. I love
It's a video with Mandani, Zohran Mamdani's father. In it, he's basically talking about using violence as a tactic to destroy Western governments, including America. He's had a fascination with this for many decades. It's a must-watch video.
I think there's also a second lesson we can draw from these events that my colleague talked about. Vietnam, South Africa, and now the US. The US has been at the center of all of these.
Yes.
Even though
Where's the lie?
I don't, but yeah, I'm waiting for this to be like, this guy really thinks he's somehow owning him. And again, this is Zohran's father. That's relevant. How?
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
why is his father giving us, like, I'm just not even understanding how this is relevant. It's like they're really trying to just find everything they can to own this guy, and they just can't do it.
Kind of like Billy Carter because he was a drunk. You know what I mean? Billy
It's ridiculous.
it's not been in Vietnam, it was on the ground. In South Africa, it wasn't on the ground, and here it says it's not on the ground. What lesson did we learn from it? We learned one lesson, which was that as we mobilized to oppose these actions, we also learned to diversify our tactics. Yes. We also learned that we should not be fixated on a single tactic. We also learned that violence...
Just in case you don't understand, like, this guy is explaining how to undermine America and undermine Western governments in general, how to lead a revolution.
This guy's hilarious. Like, this guy is this man is a joke.
What he's actually saying, little Maguire, I was even going to call him Jerry Maguire, but that would be insulting because that was actually one
It was a good movie. Yeah, don't go. Yeah.
No, he's talking about how he takes the power away from shitbags like you. That's what he's talking about. You see, guys like him really, especially tech billionaires, if there's one thing you know about these types of introverts that kind of lack personality and an understanding about interpersonal communication, they really see themselves as gods among men because of their mass wealth, which in many ways is just made up because it's on paper. It's not tangible. It's not gold. It's not real estate. It's this supposed value that they manage to bring to the table, of which to me is very overrated. And in his mind, just the concept of hearing rhetoric that suggests we're going to level the playing field so that you cannot monopolize our daily lives, to him, this is violence.
Right. Well,
that is violence.
That's how privileged this guy is, that sounds violent to him.
Well, he wears it well.
Violence are not opposites. We learned that every liberation movement feels at one point or another to resort to violence, but at the same time it is only successful if it does not embrace the violence unconditionally.
Yes.
We learned that in South Africa. The only reason Mandela was successful is because he was preceded by a violent movement, direct action in the townships, because it convinced the apartheid state that if they do not find a peaceful solution, they will have two losses. One will be that the rebellion will spread, and the second will be that their own youth and their own intelligentsia will desert the project of an apartheid state. Remember, they went to meet the ANC in Senegal and in different parts of Europe. This was critical. The smart ones understood the time was limited, which is exactly what the smart ones we hope in Israel will also understand.
The truth is that this man doesn't understand what he just heard. He has no idea what he's listening to.
No, he's hearing it backwards. And the other thing that I think is also very telling, and Zohran's father brings up the fact that intelligentsia, they lost them. But in the States, it is different than South Africa and other parts of the world. I don't hear anybody really, I don't know if you do, Jen, but in terms of anybody in intelligentsia speaking up for what's happening with Francesca Albanese, I haven't heard anything.
No, nobody's going to step. No, you're not going to hear that. Not in this country.
No. But he sits there like the peckerhead that he is, thinking that, oh, this is violence against me. You mean because we don't think you should be in control of tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars? No, I don't think you should. I think it's hard to fathom that a person has $1 billion to their name, which is just an insane amount of money when you think about it.
Well, here's the thing is that these people like him are surrounded by people that constantly tell them that their shit tastes good, right? So these people are not, they're so in such bubble wrap that they have no concept. And this guy thinks that he's sort of like showing them. And all they're doing is promoting him. Like, it's really cool. Like, they really have no idea. That's how out of touch. Oh, yeah. That's how out of touch this guy is. He thinks that by putting out this content, that it'll help make people realize that Zohran is an Islamicist, which is he Muslim? Are you saying because he's Muslim, is Muslim Islam? Or is that just another way of saying terrorist based on his religion and based on the fact that he's Muslim? Because you're just a bigot. Like, I get it. But who does that appeal to? A very small group of people.